Hi guys, this is Greg Siegel from Codeable, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create custom buttons on Xcode. So, the first thing you want to do is go to Xcode and go over to create a new Xcode project. I'm going to go single view application, and we're going to call it custom buttons. I'm going to go next, going to save it on my desktop, and then we're done. So we just need to go into our view controller iPhone XIB. I'm just going to change this to white, just to make it a little bit cleaner. Just going to drag up this, and for our first button, we're just going to have a simple round rect button. Okay, so I'm just going to say hello, and you'll find once you go in the simulator that when you click on it, it will just go blue and highlight, and it will do whatever action you want it to do once you designate that for your .h and .m files. Okay. So for our second button, I'm just going to drag in yet another round rect, but this time if you go over to the button section, you'll say type, and it will be a round rect at the moment. That's the type of button we've got. But if I go down, you'll see that I've got a selection of different buttons which I can use. And so for our second one, I'm just going to go to detailed disclosure. So that's all you have to do. It will design it for you. Xcode has already got a preset button for detailed disclosure, and I'm just going to put that one underneath. And so this is kind of a useful button, I guess, if you have a set of information and you want to press the button, you can go over to more detail. It's just basically a set type of button which will portray to the user what the actual button is doing. Instead of just a usual round rect button, you've got a specific detailed disclosure button that shows that if you click on this, you're going to get some more detail. So for our next one, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to go to Info Light. Okay, so I'll just drag this one, put it over here. Okay, you can't see that very clearly if you just have a look at it there. But once you tapped on it, you'll obviously see it better, it will light up. So we'll just leave that like that for the moment. Okay, so for our next button, I'll just drag in another round rect, and we'll go to Info Dark. So this is the exact same thing, however in a darker format. So they've put two different versions. So if you have a black background or a darker background, you can use the lighter info button, or if you've got a lighter background, you can use the darker info button. And these buttons are really nice and look really professional, and they're really useful as well. If you've got some like an about page or extra info page, you can just tap on that, it'll light up, and then it'll take your user to another page. So these are really nice. I'll just align that better, like that. Okay, so our next one, do exactly the same thing, and we go to Add Contact. So this is similar to the Detailed Disclosure button. It's in that dark blue with a white symbol in it. So this would be maybe for an address book or some kind of, maybe an email address. So you could use lots of different purposes for these buttons. So those are the set buttons that Apple give you. You've got your round rect, your detailed disclosure, your add contact, your info light and dark. So those are ones you can just automatically use without doing any graphic design at all, and that can save you a lot of time, and it looks far more professional than maybe some of the buttons you may create. So those are nice. But then you've got two other different types, sorry. You've got your custom image, and you've also got a second custom image where you can have a transition from when you have the still button and another image when the user presses on it, and you get a second image appear. So for our first one, we just need to create an images folder before we go into this. We'll go, strange, there we go, new group. And we'll call this, if I can get onto it, come on, there we go, and we'll call this images, there we go. I'll just drag that there, close supporting files, and I'll just drag in these three images. I've got my Apple logo, PNG, remember to click the destinations folder. I've got my two other images which we're going to use for the transitioning button. There we go, all sorted. Okay, so if we go jump back into the... I'll just zoom in for you. There's my clock. Okay, here we go. You can probably see that a little bit better now. Right, so if we just click back on the button, you can go to Image and Apple logo. There we go. I'll just size this up. Let's just zoom out and let's see what the size of this picture is. This is quite a useful trick. If you go into Get Info, you can find the size of your image. Excuse me. So if we go 152, that's 352 by 186. There we go. Okay, so there's our image. I'll just close that and zoom back in. Okay, so we've got our image, however it's in a round rect button, so it doesn't look as professional as it could be. So instead of round rect, we can go to custom, and there we go, the round rect white background is gone, and we've just got this Apple logo. So I can make this a little bit smaller. There we go. I'll order these in a minute because they're all a little bit messy. So there's our Apple button, and when we press this it will just get dim, it'll go a little bit grey, and that will be the transition for that one, which Apple already does for you. You don't have to add a darker image or a faded image. Okay, so I'll just go to custom button again, and I'll set the size for 300. 300 width I think, but let's have a look. Again, really useful trick, go to Get Info, because I find it hard to remember what the sizes of all my images are. As you can see, there we go, it wasn't 300, it's 240. There we go, so that's all sized up. It's going to be quite a big button. Okay, so now we need to go to Images and go to Codable Black, like that. I'll zoom in again. Okay, so here we got the same image with the apple, but underneath we've got Codable in black. Okay, so that's all great. That's our image. So nothing's going to change when you press on it, apart from you get that dim. But if you go here and background, no. Configuring state highlighted. Here we go. Okay, a little bit tricky to find. It will say state config, and it will say default. So that's the one where we've got the Codable black. This is our default stage. But if we go to highlighted, we can then choose another image. So go to Codable and then go to the red one. So what this is saying is that our default button, like this, is just the apple with the black Codable writing underneath. However, when it's highlighted, when it's pressed, it will go to the Codable red.png. And that's what that's saying right there. It won't show that for now, but you'll see it when we go into pressing some of these buttons. So if I just leave that one there and I'll do this one here, like that. Don't have to be too neat. When you're doing this, you can adjust these. But hopefully you'll be able to see this info light button. I'm not sure how it will come out, but that will do. Okay, if we zoom out now, and we'll go to iPhone 5.0 simulator. Excuse me. Okay. But it's really, there we go, really simple to do, requires no coding at all. Just all you have to do is get some images and, well, maybe not even that, depending on what you're doing. You can just use these Set Apple buttons. Okay, so if we click on the round rect, you can see it just turns blue when you click on it. The detailed disclosure will darken the blue color around it. The light, unfortunately you can't see that, so we'll go back and do that quickly. Okay, that's the info dark, and there's our detailed disclosure. Okay, so this is our custom button. As you can see, it darkens, as I said before, when you click on it. Okay, so this is the special one. This is our kind of highlighted when transitioned. Okay, here we go, this is our Codable one. Okay, as you can see, when you've clicked on it, Codable, the writing underneath will turn from black to red. So that's a really nice transition when you clicked on it. It just makes it feel a lot more personal for your app. It makes it feel like you've truly designed all of it, and every little detail, even the buttons, have been customed. So that's a really nice thing to do. You don't have to just do writing. You could do a different button. You could even have going from an Apple logo to a pear if you wanted to. It really doesn't matter, it's just that transition. Sometimes it's better to do the writing or just a slight transition. If it's too dramatic, it may seem a little bit strange. Okay guys, that was how to create custom buttons on Xcode. It's really easy, requires no coding, and it makes your app seem far more professional. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.